what I see is, well, being in IT, right, you know what it takes to empower yourself. When I look at devices, telephones and such, if you don't have digital literacy skills, you're not digitally skilled, all you're doing is consuming. You're not engaging. And I want and I need to have people engaging so we can close that divide. Because if you're not engaging, then you're not empowering yourself to all of the opportunities that exist.
Welcome to another episode of the Community Broadband Bits podcast. I'm Christopher Mitchell. I'm with the Institute for Local Self-Reliance, and I'm seeing Kevin Klain walk by. Hey, we're going to catch up later, I hope. Yeah, he's on the phone. I'm here with Dwayne Douglas, who's wondering how professional this operation is. Welcome.
Thank you.
So you are with, is it the Quilt?
The Quilt Corp, yes.
Quilt Corp. All right. So you and I met in Gary when my colleague Jordan and I went over there to talk broadband with folks and do what we call a little broadband boot camp with AARP. And you came down and shared that you are doing some cool work, marrying physical infrastructure, mesh Wi-Fi kind of approach. I'm going to ask you what mesh means in a minute, but with also digital equity training and that sort of thing.
This is true.
So tell me about it. So what are you doing?
I work in several communities, and what we're doing right now is we started off with a point-to-point fiber connection, and then we're doing point-to-multipoint, going into a property, going point-to-point, multi-point around the community. And now what we're doing is we're actually looking to acquire dark fiber within marginalized communities, only work in marginalized communities, and then implement solutions within multi-dwelling units throughout the city of Chicago.
Okay, when you say point-to-point, what we're talking about is like you got fiber in one location, you're taking it to another location. And then point-to-multipoint, you're going from there to like many endpoints like homes, units in apartment buildings, I'm guessing, or
Yeah,
what?
So, well, when I say fiber point-to-point, just a DIA. So coming from a data center to a location in a community, which would be a property.
Okay.
And then we take that and we go up to the rooftop with a fiber cable, and then we put a point-to-multipoint antenna on top. Mm-hmm. And then we go point-to-multipoint from there to the surrounding properties.
So it would be harder and more expensive to do that in a few places. Do you just like the climate here? You didn't pick Chicago because it was easy.
Didn't do it because it was easy. Because I tell you, some of those supposedly spring days that were about 30 degrees didn't work so well for the person on the roof, which is usually me and another guy at the other end.
Yeah, we do cable crimping in some of our events, and I'm always like, all right, you're doing it now in 68 degrees. Imagine doing this in 35.
Yeah, you have to make those timelines.
So how do you do, so you're getting dark fiber now, and we can talk and just remind people what that is. But when you say point-to-point, did you build a fiber route, or did you know that there was one already close by and you could extend that? How did it work?
Yeah, so because my background is in IT and telecom, I've been doing telecom for years, I have quite a few fiber maps. And so I knew certain carriers had fiber within the communities I was working in. However, they just passed through. So when I did the point-to-point or communicate with them, what I had to have them do is to bring it to a point in the community or from a point in the community where they're already at. Then I had to pay to have it brought from that point to the property.
Did you work with the community? How did you know? Is this a place you know well? Like, how did you know where to do it and that people would be receptive to you doing this?
When I first started, I only partnered with community partners. I didn't tell any of the politicians what I was doing, just the community partners. And so those community partners directed me to property owners. And so we formed that partnership.
Okay, so at this point, I think people have to understand that you're hemorrhaging money. like, not only are you doing an expensive approach, this is something where if people had money, it wouldn't work out. And so this is something that I'm guessing is a philanthropic type activity.
Yeah, you can tell by my clothes. No. It is. So when I originally started, I did have a sponsor. So Microsoft sponsored my first 3 POPs on the south side of Chicago. So it came at no cost to me. They sponsored the fiber, they sponsored the equipment, and the whole goal is so I can keep the price down.
Mm-hmm. And you had, so let's go back to how you got into all this. You now have connections. You've had connections in the industry. How did you get into broadband originally?
On the philanthropic side or in general?
In general, yeah. I'm curious.
So in general, I had an IT consulting company and a training company. So we're training individuals for network and project management and computer programming.
Early 2000s?
Oh, man, no. Earlier. Anyway, what had happened was...
So you lived through the bust.
Yeah, the bust. So while I was doing one of our clients, which was an accounting firm, I met their telecom person. And so through those conversations, we decided to partner. And so at that point in time, he was doing hotels. Mm-hmm. And we had about 340 hotels around in the Midwest that we were actually doing telecom for their phone systems, their security, and their internet. But we were using T1 lines back in the day. And then we did one of Motorola's canopies, first implementations down in the city of Gary for their transportation centers. And that started my journey in the telecom.
All right, I'm not going to get too caught up and go off stream with this, but I am curious. I mean, now we associate hotels with national contracts with big carriers and things like that. Is that how it was back then?
No. So we were doing mid-range hotels as well. So there were no national contracts until wireless became a hot commodity.
Okay. All right. So you were involved in both like telephony as well as wireless then?
Yes.
All right. So if we move forward, you loved working with Motorola's canopy.
Loved it.
You stuck with it.
Well, actually, I'm a Cambium now, so I guess I did.
Okay, so how did you you just had more opportunities and got more clients to stay in the space then, basically?
You know what happened is so we got out of the telecom business. I lost my partner, and so then we turned that business down, and then in 2017 I was back in Chicago and talking to someone, and my elder aunt, I shouldn't say older aunt. And what she said, she asked me a question.
So actually, we can just do a clean edit there. You can just start that part over again. You don't have to worry about correcting yourself.
All right. But she probably won't even hear this.
You never know.
This is true. I thought I was the only person listening to you. But
I feel like that might be the case sometimes. So you're back in Chicago.
Back in Chicago and just visiting, and she asked me a question. I was trying to exchange some information with her, some photos. I pull out my iPhone. She pulled out a flip phone. Obviously, I'm IT. I was going to fix this problem. Mm-hmm. I said, "Where's your printer at?" I'll Bluetooth to it and boom, print you out some pictures. I don't have a printer. Where's your computer then? I don't have a computer. I said, "Do you have internet?" And she says, "What do I need that for?" Mm-hmm. So that alone, it just caused pause. And I told her, I said, "You know what? I'll bring some the next time I'm down." And when I left,
bring some internet,
and some pictures. But when I left, I walked out and I just thought, it was on the west side of Chicago. Does everyone feel this? Does anyone else feel this way about whether they need the internet or not, or what do they need it for? Went home, did some research, and it's pretty prevalent in all the communities that look like those communities that this was a huge problem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, let's spend a minute here. This ranges from, I mean, and this is something that, listeners of the show are probably familiar with. Sean Gonzalez, my colleague, who is African American, and he's actually from Cape Verde, so I don't know exactly how he identifies, but at any rate, he talks about young black entrepreneurs, and they say, "I got everything I need on my phone," and he's reminding us regularly that there's like a number of people who don't see a value in home internet access. Now, there's also a number of elderly people, and we see this all across various different demographics who feel like it's not that important to them. Your response to that wasn't to say, "Well, good for her. She can, keep doing things the way she's done it." Your sense was that that's a problem to be solved.
Yes.
And why is that? Because I want to just talk about that for a second.
Yeah. Because what I see is, being in IT, right, you know what it takes to empower yourself. When I look at devices, telephones and such, if you don't have digital literacy skills, you're not digitally skilled, all you're doing is consuming, right? You're just consuming. You're not engaging. And I want and I need to have people engaging so we can close that divide. Because if you're not engaging, then you're not empowering yourself to all of the opportunities that exist. Even reducing your own barriers that are preventing you from getting to those opportunities, because you now expose yourself to other organizations in your own community that can provide you those services. But you're not going to find that on your phone.
I find that compelling. I have two. I have an angel on my left, or maybe I have a devil on both sides. I don't know, but I got a voice on my left, and that's agreeing with you and saying studies suggest that people that are not on the internet, like the impact on their health is equivalent to smoking a pack a day or something like that. Like people who are not on the internet literally have worse health outcomes. And it's not just a matter of the neighborhoods that they live in, because the people that live in those neighborhoods under similar incomes, if they're on the internet, have better health outcomes. Right. On the other hand, there's a part of this that's like, I don't want to get up in people's business and force them to change the way they live, especially when there's risks of like fraud and things like that on the technology. And so like, ultimately, I think it comes down to we have to have effective ways of making sure people have the training and the devices. But I just want to like bring that out because people sometimes skip by that and assume it.
Yes, exactly. So I'm from those communities, but I'm not currently of those communities, right? So I live out in the suburbs. I've been out there for 30 years. So when I come into those communities, I have to change my mind, right? Because I live in a bubble, and much like everyone else out there that I live with as well. Because we assume that everything that we have, everyone else has. Or they have it maybe not as good as us, but they actually have it.
Right.
You would never conceive, before COVID that people were not going to be able to go to school or get their medication or even understand, what was going on.
Right.
So, or not be able to be contacted, but the reality of it is that they live entirely different lives than we do.
Okay. I interrupted you. You were going to talk about what you did now after you found out that there was a significant number of people that had this issue and you wanted to get involved.
Right. So what I wanted to do, what had happened was I was going to go home and write up a solution and then bring it back and give it to the community and say, hey, it's for free. I'm not going to charge you. It's all yours.
So who are you going to give it to?
I was going to give it to the community organizations that I felt they were doing the work in the community. What happened is that when I did that and I brought it back to the community, I found out that those organizations that are delivering the services themselves had their own digital journey issues. So their technology stack was non-existent.
Right.
So they weren't networked, weren't in the cloud. Computers weren't talking to each other. They were doing a lot of things manually, still delivering great service, but it just wasn't the most efficient.
Right. People doing social services often aren't using a lot of RFIDs.
Exactly. And even their internal systems, they weren't even connected. So they'd print off from one system and then type it into another system and then print off from that system and then type the cumulative document into another one. Right. And so they
have precious little time, and when things break, then someone needs to figure out how to fix it. And as soon as they come up with anything that'll work, they got to move on with that. I'm guessing. And
it's usually somebody's cousin or somebody's brother or son who's their IT person.
Right.
So what I did was I said, okay, fine, I can't give this to them. I need to do something about this. So I paused my career and started Quilt, the nonprofit. And the nonprofit's whole goal was to partner with community, help those community organizations with their technology stack, helping them understand how they can be more efficient in doing the work that they do, but also utilizing them as my trusted partner to reach out to those residents within those communities to actually deliver digital literacy, digital equity services.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the fiber. So if we can jump back into there, now you're leasing dark fiber, which is, you can imagine, different companies have fiber throughout, especially in the city of Chicago, all over the place, although less so likely in some of these neighborhoods. And you're going to be able to get to different, let's call it like different streets with fiber. What next?
Now that I'm leasing that dark fiber, there's a couple of things I'm going to be doing. I'm getting to those streets and working with the utilities to look at assets. So their poles in the alleyway, looking at those poles in the alleyway, looking to do third-party agreements with them. So I don't know if we mentioned that I started an ISP.
No, we didn't.
So I'm not doing that through the nonprofit. I started an ISP, And so I have it certified as an ETC through the ICC, so I can do all the things that all these other individuals can do as well.
So you didn't just start an ISP. You went through all the paperwork and bureaucracy to be able to be eligible for a variety of programs that would then benefit people that might subscribe, like Lifeline.
This is correct. Yes, I am Lifeline certified as well. And that was the whole purpose. Whatever solution I brought, it had to be affordable by whatever means that is, right? And for whatever programs that would exist. So that's when I did that.
It's one thing to lose money on building something out, but you can't have a situation in which there's no money coming in or there's too little coming in to be able to keep operating it. You want it to be sustainable, and that means tapping into these programs, I'm guessing. Right?
Yeah. You have to have some kind of sustainable stream of flow that's coming in, because I'm E-rate certified. I get certified for every program that I could to help that, the community as a whole.
Okay. So you have an ISP, you've got dark fiber.
ISP, and I got dark fiber. So
I feel like we're falling. I mean, it's appropriate here, but it's 106 miles to Chicago. We got half a pack of cigarettes, a full tank of gas. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Right, we're all set.
That's right. Got to go jump off that building with the Blues Brothers or something. But so yes,
half of the audience has no idea what I'm talking about. I'm so sorry right now. I'm sorry that they haven't seen it. I'm not sorry that I brought it up.
So now what the plan is community by community is to deliver last mile solutions. And so I'm in approximately 10 communities now in partnership with the community organizations and anchor institutions. And so our goal is to build strategic plans, work with communities and those property owners within those communities, and deliver last mile solutions. Now, ideally, my ideal solution would be an open access solution, because the issue with our incumbents is that they are not inside of the buildings. They go to the unit. So in a 6-unit building, they have one line running directly up to Unit 3A, for example. And say if that was AT&T. And that person in that unit says, I don't want AT&T anymore, I want Comcast. Comcast has to now go run a separate line from that pole in the alley back up to that building. So there's two long cords hanging off the side of a building. So what I want to do is to put it in a central location in the building, wire the building, and then allow open access to utilize those solutions. So they can have their choice. They can use anything that they want within those properties.
You know that I don't know if someone here would know. And by the way, we're at Connected Illinois 2024. I should have mentioned that at the beginning where we're doing this interview. But some states are looking for building owners, and the state will pay them to work with you to make that connection. Like Massachusetts and New York, and anyway, they have these programs specifically for that sort of a thing, because there's an expectation that the landlord doesn't want to pay it, and so right now I think you're volunteering to pay it. I'm guessing, right?
That's correct.
The costs.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I think people should be aware, and people should be asking their state offices to have a program like this, because when we're talking about these neighborhoods, I'm guessing there are more people living in apartment buildings than there are in single-family homes.
Oh, yeah. And in these neighborhoods I'm talking about, 90% of the homes are MDUs, are multi-dwelling units. Okay.
I like the solution. 10 at a time seems hard. Have you proven it out in one or two so far? What have you gotten accomplished versus what the plan is?
Yeah, so we have a pilot location over in the south side of Chicago where we've done 2 properties so far. We've done a 65-unit senior living facility and a 33-unit regular residence, right, residency property. And so the ideal thing with this one here is that we have 6 properties on the same block. And so we're going to light up each one of those one at a time. And then we're going to move throughout the community from there, having that being our base. Now, we're using our wireless solution for that currently, because what we want to prove through here is the multi-dwelling model. That's what we want to prove through. And looking at how we can provide that open access inside the building through the model that we're running.
Now, you want to have inside the building wiring to a central location and then wiring to each living unit, right?
That would be the ideal approach. However, in some of these properties, we still have that issue with who owns the infrastructure. And so, in one of the properties that I'm doing now, the infrastructure, all of the infrastructure is owned by 2 incumbents that I cannot use their infrastructure. So what I had to do in those is do an alternative solution, which is a property-wide Wi-Fi solution, utilizing PSKs so everyone has their own private network. It's a private network setting, much like having a router in their home. but now they can roam throughout the entire building and still have their own private network and access to it. So those are the solutions that we have to, the loops we jump through, right, to ensure that I can deliver service.
Now, when you say that, there's two things that I feel like we often worry about in those situations, and I don't know enough about PSKs to know if you've resolved it. One is, can they talk to their own printer?
Yes.
Okay, so that's great. Because, for the other reason, which is a security concern, often you isolate each device on the Wi-Fi network so they can't see each other. But within a home, you'd kind of like devices to see each other. So your solution resolves that.
Yes. That was the reason that we went with that solution versus the hotel model where everyone can be on the same network. Mm-hmm. So this one here, it actually follows them around. They never have to ask anyone. They go to a neighbor's house, what's your Wi-Fi password? Mm-hmm. If they go to another building, they can log directly in and do the same.
Okay, so now you've done far more than almost anyone else on this sort of issues in these kinds of communities. You decided not to stop there, but to also do digital equity and trainings and devices.
This is correct.
You have a lot of energy.
Yeah, I don't know. 3 hours of sleep is not working for me. It's just doing all right, though. Yes, because what I wanted to do, so for me, it's not about internet. Right, that's why the cost is as low as I can get it. Mm-hmm. It's about self-empowerment. So here's my theory is that, so if I can provide them with a device, I can get them the digital literacy training and the digital skilling. Once they get digital skilling, they're employable. But now they move into my area of specialty, and that's workforce development training and certification. So I went and got DOL-approved apprenticeship programs, Cisco Net Academy, because I want to ensure that when I get these individuals access and the skills and the training, I can now get them employment. Because what happens then is that I'm now starting to change the socioeconomics of those communities, ending that systemic cycle.
That's the dream.
Because now, their kids see them doing something, other than whatever they were doing before. They start to engage with society on a different level to see more opportunities. Those barriers that they once faced are now reduced, and they're moving through society much like we are. And that $10 I was charging them for internet, I no longer need to do that. Mm-hmm. I can charge them $50 now because they can afford to pay what everyone else is paying. And they'll be proud to do it because they can.
Right. And if everyone's paying $50, we're living in a better world than I'm forecasting. But who does the training? Do you do the training? Do you have people you're already working with? Who actually does the trainings?
So what I do for the front-end training is, that's one of the reasons we partner with communities, because there are people already doing this work. They just don't have the individuals coming to them or the resources to go out and do the outreach. Mm-hmm. So when we partner with communities, I build out a strategic plan for them. And so on the digital equity and inclusion portions of it, we put in digital literacy. And I find out who's doing that digital literacy. If there's no one doing the digital literacy, we find an organization that can, and I help stand up that training program for them. I bring in a digital navigator and help that digital navigator help them figure out what that plan is going to look like per the lens of who they're trying to train. Mm. So in those senior living facilities, as we know, we went down in Gary, there's a different training that's associated with that. And then for the individuals who are looking for workforce development or reentry, those individuals, those are separate trainings as well. Reentry is an entirely different, situation. And so we build out those lenses for them. But they're done by those community organizations. On the south side there, we have a group that's called the Woodline Resource Center. They have a lab in there, and we're building out digital literacy training for them, and we're helping to stand that up. And we get to the apprenticeship programs, I have partners that come in and help me with train-the-trainer programs to get those going. My goal is to get individuals trained and have them come back and teach those classes. Right now I'm using some of my partners from my fiber organizations as such. They're volunteering to help do some of the training as well.
How do you cover the costs? I mean, obviously, you said Microsoft helped out. You have other deep-pocketed partners or philanthropy. How are you making that work?
Well, another one of my great partners is QTS Data Centers. They've just been just outstanding. So they've been helping me out. They give me small grants, like $50,000 here, $50,000 there, to help me move things along, just to keep things going until I can get additional funding coming through. The Preservation of Affordable Housing, or I should say the Woodline Resource Center, they help with some financing as well to keep things moving along until we can get it to a state where I've proven through the pilot, and then they can go after and says, hey, CEO, this is really working over here. Let's start funding these programs through. And that's really where we're trying to get to right now.
That's wonderful. Is there anything that we missed?
We covered a whole lot.
Yeah, you've done a whole lot.
So, well, I know that, like I said, I'll be acquiring probably about about 700 miles of this dark fiber throughout the city. And I'm also working in Cook County as well, which is the surrounding county. And that my whole goal is to ensure that, I'm connecting as many people as I can over the next 5 years to help to build this up to a more sustainable solution, but also inclusive of the incumbents. They aren't in these communities for a reason, and it's because they can't make money. And it's not because, they don't have enough money, but it's just not. It's not feasibly responsible.
No, that's what I mean. I've said this many times. So Brian Roberts is the CEO of Comcast. Comcast is a major provider here in Chicago. And if Brian Roberts said, you know what, we made record profits, we are going to put some of that money into making sure that the South Side is better connected than any other part of any city in America, he would be retired quite quickly by the board. That's just not how it works.
Right.
And so it's not a matter of them being bad. It's a matter of the system works in a certain way, and we don't expect McDonald's to end world hunger, and we shouldn't expect Comcast to end the digital divide. So I value what they do. I'm deeply frustrated. I mean, we value what they do on digital equity. We're deeply frustrated at a few of their lobbying practices on competition, but we cannot count on those companies to solve the problem ultimately.
That's right. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. And if you didn't, you'd say that I would, because I'm very threatening and intimidating in person.
You're a 5'6".
Must be wearing my shoes with the lifts in them today. Well, thank you so much, Dwayne. It's been really fun.
Chris, I appreciate it. Thanks much.
We have transcripts for this and other podcasts available at communitynets.org/broadbandbits. Email us at podcast@muninetworks.org with your ideas for the show. Follow Chris on Twitter. His handle is @CommunityNets. Follow communitynets.org stories on Twitter. The handle's @MuniNetworks. Subscribe to this and other podcasts from ILSR, including Building Local Power, Local Energy Rules, and the Composting for Community podcast. You can access them anywhere you get your podcasts. You can catch the latest important research from all of our initiatives if you subscribe to our monthly newsletter at ilsr.org. While you're there, please take a moment to donate. Your support in any amount keeps us going. Thank you to Arnie Huseby for the song Warm Duck Shuffle, licensed through Creative Commons.